Thank you and good evening. Well, what if I told you that tomorrow morning when you woke up, you would be bald? How would you feel? Perhaps a bit insecure, maybe a little bit vulnerable? It's amazing how much of our identities we derive from our appearances. Oftentimes how we look is then how we feel. So it's quite ironic that on November 6th of 2013, so many FGCU students were recently bald, but were smiling from ear to ear.
They were smiling because they knew that they had made a difference in the life of a child with cancer. St. Baldricks Foundation is an international foundation dedicated to finding a cure for children with childhood cancer. Childhood cancer is the #1 disease-killing agent of children in the United States and Canada, and every 3 minutes, a child is diagnosed with cancer. Hi, my name is Claire, and this is my sister Catherine, and we're here to share with you tonight our story about how we became passionate for a cause, the changes that we made, and to provide for you some keys to help you be passionate in your own organizations. But let's start at the very beginning. Who is St. Baldrick?
I'm going to answer this question and reveal the big secret. There is no St. Baldrick. St. Baldrick is a fusion between the name St. Patrick and Bald to commemorate the first St. Baldrick's Day that took place as a charitable challenge between 3 friends on St. Patrick's Day in 2000. Today, St. Baldrick's is an international foundation dedicated to finding a cure for childhood cancer. Now, it does so in a fun and exciting way by having participants volunteer to be sponsored to get their heads shaved in order to raise awareness and funding for children with cancer. But why do we choose childhood cancer? Well, cancer is a disease that affects both adults and children worldwide. And research shows that cancer does not discriminate. It spares no age, no gender, no ethnicity, no economic background, no geographical location. But perhaps those who are affected by cancer who are most vulnerable are kids. 1 out of every child diagnosed with cancer will not survive. And of the remaining 4, 3 will have long-term side effects due to the treatments that they undergo. St. Baldrick's events and events like those that you can create and you can participate in create positive venues for change.
Well, think about when you were a child. You couldn't go to the regular doctor if you were ill. You went to the pediatrician. And you didn't take adult Advil, you had to take children's Tylenol. Your treatment options were different. And it's the same thing for children who are facing childhood cancer. Their options have to be different too. So although there's a significant amount of money going towards funding research of cancer, doesn't necessarily mean that any of that money is truly benefiting children with cancer. Some forms of cancer receive up to $1 billion annually in funding, while the funding for childhood cancer is significantly below that. But there is good news. What started off as that charitable challenge between 3 friends has now developed into the 2nd largest funder of childhood cancer, and it's second only to the United States government. Since that inaugural event, there have been over 2,500 events in 24 different countries, helping to raise over $127 million.
So this is why we do it, to help kids like those pictured here, like Mateus or Hayden, who are facing these terrible diseases like neuroblastoma, retinoblastoma, leukemia, and these kids haven't even lost their baby teeth yet. St. Baldrick's Foundation and our FGCU St. Baldrick's Day hope to inspire you. So we wish to give others courage, the courage needed to stand up when you see an injustice in the world. Because whether it's global, in your backyard, in the playground, or in the parking lot, the positive actions of one can affect and inspire many.
Catherine's absolutely right. Your actions can make a difference. So no matter how big or how small, whatever the injustice may be that you see in the world, we ask that you act upon it and that you make a difference. So we're going to provide for you some helpful tips to be able to accomplish this. One of the easiest things that you could probably do is donate. Find an organization that's already dedicated to what you're passionate about, and you can donate towards them. But I think that we would like to see you do some more impactful and meaningful service. So the first thing that you want to do is surround yourself with other individuals, I was born with one, who is going to support you in your cause. Sometimes this is easier said than done. But the easiest thing that you can do is to simply talk about it, and don't stop talking about it until you drive people crazy. Talk about it to your friends, talk about it to your roommates, talk about it in your church organization, in your school organization, but continue to talk about it and to spread the word. You also want to make sure that you have an elevator pitch. What that means is in the time that it would take you to ride an elevator with someone, you need to be able to communicate to them what the cause is, why it's important, what you're doing about it, and how they can help you. I cannot tell you how many times Catherine and I have said,
St. Baldricks is an international foundation dedicated to finding a cure for childhood cancer. It does so in a fun and unique way by having people volunteer to get their heads shaved in order to raise awareness and empathize with children with childhood cancer. Sound familiar?
I think we could probably say that in our sleep. So no matter what cause it is that is important to you, make sure that you can talk about it knowledgeably. Now, another key thing that you're going to want to do is to find community partnerships. Look for organizations in the community who are going to assist you. Now, after our St. Baldrick's Day event, I cannot tell you how many times Catherine and I were asked, how did you get Jimmy John's to donate so much food? Well, I'm going to tell you the secret, and I hope that some of you are taking notes, because we asked. And we asked and we asked. We asked institutions and organizations in a number of different industries. It didn't matter if it was automobile, service industry, food industry, we continue to ask organizations. And we did get a lot of no's, but it was the yeses that were most important, and it was the yeses that made a difference. Now, what you need to remember is that this is a community partnership. It means that it needs to be mutually beneficial. They're providing you with something, so make sure that you're giving back to them as well. If you are hosting an event, make sure that you have their logo displayed behind you. If your event involves a t-shirt, make sure that their logo's on your t-shirt. In our case, Zervo Salon was a fantastic sponsor of St. Baldrick's Day, and now Catherine and I get our hair done there. And don't we look fabulous? So make sure that you're giving back to those organizations as well. Another thing that you're going to want to do is to use your resources. It might have been easier for us because we were here on such a supportive community campus, but every individual has their own circles of influence, whether it be in your church organization, students in your classroom, or just the people in the train every morning on your way back and forth to work. These are already connections that you have made. So take advantage of those connections, talk to those people, and allow the word to spread. Now, the other thing that you want to do is to support everything that you're saying with research. Isn't it more compelling if we were to say,
consider this. Within the first 2 weeks of a childhood cancer diagnosis, the news is so traumatizing that 51% of moms and 40% of dads display signs and characteristics that could be associated or diagnosed with acute stress disorder. St. Baldrick's Foundation tries to get funding and research for families and patients in order to find the best possible chance for a cure and long-term survival. Now, sharing facts and statistics like this allow your audience or your listeners to better engage and understand the information that you're displaying.
It's going to be a little bit stronger in your response than if I had simply said childhood cancer is bad. So make sure that you're backing up everything that you're saying with research. Our hope is that tonight, while you were sitting here, in the back of your mind, you might have something, no matter how big or how small, that you would like to see change in the world. Some of the speakers that you're going to hear tonight have made significant change, and they're all in different backgrounds. So it doesn't have to be childhood cancer. Whatever it is that is important to you, we simply ask that you act upon it. When you wake up tomorrow morning, the issue will still be here, but what's going to be different is how you face that issue and what difference that you are going to make.
Now, we've shaved about 500 heads here in Dunk City since Claire and I founded the event years ago. We even have some St. Baldrick's Day participants who are here in the audience. Perhaps the most memorable for me was Carl. Now, Carl was an FGCU student and is a childhood cancer survivor. He came and participated in our St. Baldrick's Day and shared his story. Carl told us about having to take time off from his classes in order to undergo his cancer treatment therapy. Apparently, while I was worried about turning in my colloquium homework, Carl was worried about whether or not he was going to make it through the next day. Looking at the impact of St. Baldrick's Day here at Florida Gulf Coast University through perhaps a more selfish lens reveals the way that it has changed me, my sister Claire, our campus, and our community. Courageous volunteers have come together to brave the shave in solidarity each year. We've heard from childhood cancer survivors like Carl, from friends and families of those who have not survived, from faculty, from staff, from students, and from community partners, all who have come together, united, and rallied behind the cause for childhood cancer research. They've been heroes for kids with cancer. Tonight, we're asking you to be heroes, but be heroes for causes that you're engaged in, that you want to make the change with. Go out and be that positive influence, be that difference in your community for something that you're passionate about.
The only favor that Catherine and I ask is that you wear your passion as proudly as a bald head. Thank you.